How's it going, guys? I just wanted to say I really appreciated all the support on this little sewage outlet here. I don't know how much I liked it, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys liked it. And I figured rather than responding to a whole bunch of comments, I would just try to throw together a quick video just kind of explaining some of the things that I did. I'm not that good at recording videos yet, so if this doesn't come out all that great, I do apologize. I just figured this would be the easiest way to, kind of share what I did. So, a lot of the questions that I actually had were on the rocks, and to answer those questions, so to get the boulders to kind of clip together like this, or just general, some rock wall building tips. So you want to try to build on a slope that's kind of like this. And the way to get this up against the quay wall is, what you want to do is, you're going to have your quay wall coming down into the water or up against the surface or whatever it is. And you're going to want to just go into your terraforming, and you're going to want to grab a height that's low in front of you. So if you look at here, you can see the height. And this I have extended tooltips, or it's extended. I'll put a list of the mods that I have, and with this video when I post it to you guys. But you want to just grab a height that's just above the base of wherever you're going to build the wall. So this is where the base of my wall kind of starts. So what you do is you just kind of go out and you build a little shelf here, and then you want to take your soften terrain tool and just soften this up a little bit. And now this gives you a nice slope to put your rocks on. And so you can kind of build it out like that too, in this it's going to be a little bit tighter just because of where it comes into the cliffside here. So I'm going to have this wall be a little bit tighter over here, but just to show you guys kind of an easier one. Over here, this is where I've been placing this rocks. So a couple different ways you can do this. So to answer one of the biggest questions of the clipping, so that's because of anarchy. So if you see up here, if I have anarchy not on, so this is just vanilla, it won't let me overlap the rocks, it won't let me place them, and this rock wall would not be possible. So to answer the first question, if you want to do this, you're going to have to use anarchy. I play CS2 pretty heavily modded, just because, mods just make things in this game that should be possible, and until Paradox makes these things possible, I'm probably going to be playing modded. And honestly, the mods just always elevate it to a new height. So I do feel for you if you don't have access to mods right now, but these are all mods that are on the Paradox store, so they should be pretty easy to grab. If you guys need a hand making them, just throw a comment or something. Maybe I can try to point you in the right direction, because it can be confusing. But just anarchy, and that's going to allow you to overlap these rocks. So if you toggle anarchy, it will let you put rocks wherever you want. I can put them up here and here, wherever I want. So the other thing, make sure when you're doing this, you just have boulder random selected instead of a particular boulder, because in my experience, if you just pick a boulder, even if you do rotate it, it doesn't end up looking the same. You can kind of eventually tell it's the same rock when you place a gazillion of them. The other big thing that helps, especially if you're doing a larger area like this rock wall. So this rock wall took me forever, but a good way to go about this is use the place multiple tool and use like a brush strength of like 70. And the brush size is going to depend on how big your shoreline is. But the thing that's interesting about this tool is it does not place things just within the tool. So it places them in a predictable range around the tool. And you'll see what I mean here. So if I just this is where I want this rock wall. And if I just kind of stay centered here, it's going to scatter rocks about this shoreline. If I just kind of keep going around and painting them, it's going to start filling in the shoreline, and this is going to give me a really good spot to start, so I don't have to sit there and just place them all one by one. And I did do this at one point, But you're just going to kind of go through here and you're going to paint this. And the reason I use not a full brush strength is just because I'm trying to prevent, you know, erroneous rocks from popping up over here where I don't want them. So I just kind of go through here and I paint it with like a lower brush strength, and I kind of get it, you know, to the spot where it's mostly filled in. You want to try to place some rocks below the water line too, and that's what's going to give you that good color transition. Because if you notice, if you go into, we're going to go back into place single. So if you notice, like when you're right there on the edge, whatever's actually sticking up, it's going to change the color. And that's going to give you a really nice effect along the edge of your water here. Now, this is the spot that brings me kind of to my next pointer. So there's two ways that you can place this thing. You can place this with snap upright on, which is not going to make a huge difference for where we're placing it. I mean, you can see that it changes kind of the orientation of it. So if I have snap upright on, it's going to rotate a specific way. If I don't, it's going to rotate a different way. But the big ones here are snap to the surface and not having snap to surface on. So if I have snap to surface on, I can actually place these on top of other rocks. With, you know, a combination with that, with anarchy on, I can take these and literally build them straight up to the camera. So if you look, I can literally make a line of rocks coming up like that with this turned on. If I turn this off, this is going to allow me to slip. It's going to now stick to the terrain. So because this is a certain type of prop, if I don't have this on, it's going to stick to the terrain. Meaning that even if I place it way down here, it's going to snap to the bottom of the river. Now this can be useful because if you want to fill in some spots like that, I can stick this behind here and it's not going to jut out, right? And I can go through here and place a gazillion rocks just to get that to have some texture and to have the color of the rock. Now if I actually want to give it depth, like if I actually want to make it so part of this rock sticks out apart, I can just turn this on and now I can actually put these rocks on top of each other and actually stack them on top of each other like they're, you know, physical boulders with collision. And so those are kind of the two things you use in concert. Is I go through with this tool at first just like this, and I fill in all these, you know, kind of these dirt spaces here. You don't want to see, I mean, you can leave some of them clipping through because sometimes it actually does add to the effect, but I'll go through and I'll just kind of fill up these spaces here, you know, and then I'll go back through and I'll take my bulldozer and I'll delete some of these extra boulders that got through here on the beginning when we were painting with the brush tool, and I'll leave a couple of them because when you see these type of walls in real life, they're not like straight. They don't just end in one spot. They're kind of, you know, they go through and they just dump these rocks out. So I think it looks more natural when you kind of leave some spaced out, not like that. So, you know, obviously we're going to go back and delete that. But that was just to show you guys what you can do, you know, when you use some of the tools that are within these mods. I mean, they let you do some things because, you know, those are just boulders, but imagine any other props. Imagine being able to stack some other props and think of the stuff that you can make. There's so many different props in this game if you get them the Find It mod. So if you have the Find It mod, it makes it so you can go in here and you can, you know, search for whatever props you want. Anyway, I'm trying not to make this a long video. So that's a lot of the tips on the rock wall. People are asking how do they overlap, and you know, how can I take up the spaces. So that's just a combination of anarchy and just, you know, different snap to settings. Play around with the snap to settings and that'll help you out with that a lot. As far as the actual drainage outlet goes, so to get this actual drainage outlet in, it actually wasn't too bad. So I started with a regular drainage outlet. So, and then you just use move it to just kind of sink it down into the wall here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab one, and this is going to cost me, how much is this going to cost me? That's like, alright, 25,000, I'll do it for the video. Well, so what we'll do is, I'm not actually going to do it for the video because our city is broke, but I'll show you how I got this one in here. So I'm going to go up to move it, and it's not going to let me click it. Okay, so we're going to place, well, it's alright, we're going to bankrupt the city a little bit, but it is to show you guys how this is going to work. So we just go over here. If I grab my sewage outlet, this is going to let me come over here and it's going to let me place it right up against this road. You're going to have to do this with Anarchy. Now, if you go into move it, and I grab this, and I can drag it over here. So I start by dragging it over to the top of the road here. Now, it's going to have this terrain effect within the square of this thing. Now, that's what you use the rock wall to cover it up on, and you're going to have to be kind of strategic about where along your key wall you decide to put this. And I'm going to show you guys how to do the key walls too, because some people were asking about that. But once you get this over here, you can use move it, and for me it's the page up and the page down key. So if I hit page down, I can actually sink this right in. So then you're just going to sink it down into the ground, and I mean, I can get, like on this side, I could get this all the way down to the point where it kind of meshes with the terrain the way you want it to. So once you get it down here, it's just a matter of then just sliding it around until you just get the pipe to stick out just the way you want. And I personally did it until I had the concrete showing a little bit, just because I thought that kind of gave the look. Like if you see, I dragged it out so the concrete was sticking out, and just until you got those support bars, and I just thought that was the look I was going for. And once you got it to here, the only other thing you have to do is just make sure it's connected if it's not. For me, because of how I placed it, it was already connected. I just got a pipe going straight down, and I thought that was perfect. I thought that was realistic enough, and I just rocked it. So this part, that's actually, to me, wasn't actually the hard part. It's just you needed to make sure you have move it and Anarchy, and you're all set. The only other question that you guys were asking was about the key walls. So I had a couple people in the comment, they said that they don't have key walls in the game. And so if you don't see them, you got to make sure that on your progression nodes, so if you go over here into your progression, you got to make sure that you have advanced road services unlocked. This is actually always one of the first things I unlock, and that's because if you click on your roads and you go into advanced road services, it's just called road services here, but you get options for all this stuff, and one of them is a key wall. Now, normally in the game, you're only going to get a key wall if you, I believe if you either build it on the edge or you have to build it in a very specific way. But if you have the advanced road tools mod installed, what this gives you the ability to do is come over here and click on a key, and now I can upgrade any pre-existing road, and it even works with pedestrian paths. And I can click here, and now you see how you're going to get that green bar that goes down? That's the side that it's going to want to put a key wall on. And I can click here, and now I get a key wall on that side. And you can tell I get a key wall, because for one, you can see it right here. But two, it will also, when you build a key wall, it'll take out your zoning. So the cool part about this is you can actually use this. It doesn't even have to be on water. You can use this anywhere just to control zoning. So let's say I didn't want zoning on this road. I could go here and upgrade both sides, and bam, now I don't have zoning on this road. Now you do get a little bit of a guardrail here because it's a key wall going underground. But a lot of times I'll just do this just to kind of temporarily control my zoning when I'm trying to build out grids. And I mean, you can even use this as an aesthetic. Maybe you want a section of the highway that has guardrails on it, like you're trying to build, like, you know, like a state road or something like that, and that can be a useful aesthetic. So there's a ton of different ways that you can use this, and like I said, this is the advanced road tools mod, and it is just absolutely awesome. It gives you the ability to do keys. You can force tunnel pieces, elevated pieces, retaining wall pieces. It's just great. So just to recap: Anarchy, Move It, Advanced Road Tools. Those are going to be your best friends for this project, and honestly, they're going to be your best friends for just literally everything in Cities Skylines. I mean, if I can recommend, literally, if you could only install 3 mods, I would say install those 3 mods, because literally those 3 mods will change the game experience for you. I guarantee it. But that being said, yeah, that's how I did this little sewer pipe here, and I might try to start kind of putting more of my builds and kind of stuff out there. I really enjoy sharing it with you guys. I don't really have a whole ton of people around me and like in my sphere that plays city builders and stuff like that and really get the genre. So it's cool to be able to share it with a group of people who like it. And I really appreciate the likes and the support you guys gave me, and that's why I decided to kind of like throw this together. Um, Said I do apologize if it's not the best. Don't really do a lot of whole filming stuff, but yeah, I used what I had on my computer and tried to make it so I could throw something together, and I hope you guys are able to get what you need out of it. Um, Make sure you don't forget rocks up on the edge when you paint rocks. But yeah, thanks again, guys.